on my line about nothing. Why won't you go get you $1 or something? Dollar or something. Get you $1 or something. Something. Why you be all on my line about nothing? Why won't you go get you $1 or something? Dollar or something. Get you $1 or something. Something. Why you be all on my line about nothing? Why won't you go get you $1 or something? Dollar or something. Get you $1 or something. Something. Why you be all on my line about nothing? Why won't you go get you $1 or something? Dollar or something. Get you $1 or something. 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 Stop it.
We're live and available.
Live and available. Yo, Chapuze, that's what you're welcome to it. This is Grooming with Attaché the Wisdom. I am Attaché the Wisdom. Don't worry about the coats, it's very cold outside.
It really is.
It is very, very cold outside. Well, thank you so much to all 83 subs. We're getting to 100. Guys, thank you for watching. Thank you for commenting and interacting with the channel. Remember, Grooming with Attaché the Wisdom is tailored for gents by a premium gent, only here to serve you and help you with well-informed grooming techniques, and not only that, put you on to your next level up. Bon, vandaag I'm joined by I have to sit in a way. I have to sit. I have to be respected.
I've honestly never been called a throat man, but I'll receive it.
Receive it. So I am joined by Leroy Marc. If you don't know Leroy Marc, I don't know which rock you're living under. I'm going to get you out of that rock. Vandaag here today on Grooming with Attaché the Wisdom. Thank you so much for joining. If you are new here, click subscribe now. I'm only going to tell you once because it's very, very important for you. Leroy, how you doing?
I'm fantastic. I'm great. I love that intro. I love that.
Thank you so
It's
much.
like a throat man. Putting that on my bio.
Man,
Throat man.
the Groot man, Leroy Marc, please tell the gents about yourself real quick.
Yeah.
I need you to put them onto who is Leroy Marc before
Yeah.
we ask the questions.
Jeez, who's Leroy Marc? I'm an entrepreneur. I'm a radio and television presenter. I'm a brand attaché. I'm gonna just say we must say
Brand attaché.
Brand attaché. I to the influencer.
Guess who I'm a face?
We're attachés. We attach ourselves to big brands and they attach themselves to us.
Yes.
And yeah, I'm a lawyer. So this is what I'm trained in. I'm trained in corporate and financial law, but I've moved into sort of the media space now because where I'm working. It's what I do. It's what I do every day. So it's a great place for me to be able to sort of apply my craft. And all round a fun guy. I love fitness. I love fashion.
We've seen
I love grooming.
We've
So,
seen you.
so this is very apt for me. And that's what I do. I mean, I think just taking every opportunity that sort of lands on my lap and running with it.
I'm actually going to hit a young throwback. I actually first time I met Leroy Marc, I was also going through my own personal transition, finding my flow.
Yeah.
And this was at Trans Africa Radio.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, this guy, who can feel the way they speak?
It's hard,
Guys, we speak the English here, right? From Attaché, Attaché.
With the little cappy on the E.
You know what I mean? So, I met Leroy at Trans Africa Radio, and I was like, you know what? At that time, I was employed obviously by a retailer, but I was like, yo, a friend of mine put me on there, like, you know what? I need you to meet somebody. I actually met Titi Lope.
Yeah.
I met Titi, and then, you know, sitting, kicking it with her there. And I met Leroy, and I was like, yo, man, these guys, like, where the flow of what's going on. And actually after that, I was really inspired to now go into radio. And I went to BMH Radio. And then, you know, I did a young course there, Radio 1, with this amazing lecturer, Chris, an amazing gent. And that like just put me on 10. So that transition from radio, because you said something about law, no? But in the limelight, or rather the world of social media, we see we don't see lawyer Leroy. We see model, we see collaborations with Persia, with Susie, we see tripping, we see you going out with all these people, guys, big people. And I see you doing that. So how did this whole transition happen? Did you start off at Trans Africa, or that was the first one for you?
So interestingly enough, Trans Africa Radio came completely by mistake. And I know everyone says this, I got into it by mistake. But my best friend's mom was working in radio at the time, and another friend of mine was working at 5FM. And she was doing euphonics show. So she was doing a show from 7 to 10 p.m. on the weekend. And if you know what radio is about, you know that radio is a lifestyle medium, right? It's all about what people are doing at that time. So it didn't make sense at the time for her to be on radio alone when everyone is getting ready to go party. Everyone's getting ready to go see the jams, you know, getting dressed up, you know, the bright just ended or the whatever, and you're transitioning into nighttime. And yet she's talking to herself. She's alone. There's no vibe in the studio. So, you know, every now and then she's like, hey, come through, check out what's happening, you know, on your way to wherever you're going, just pass through, let's have 2 minutes, 5 minutes, 10-minute chat so we can get people into the vibe. So when I got in there and I was just like a friend visiting a friend, and I like this I like. And at the time I was doing consultancy work for an audit firm.
Yes.
So I was really nowhere near the space. And when I got into the particular radio station, I was like, I love how this all works, because radio is the one place where you don't need to look pretty. The aesthetic of face and body doesn't apply. It's all about what's in here. And how then it comes out here. And I was like, I like this because I think I'm a smart guy, and I think that as much as I look the way I look, I prefer to sort of play the game with what's in my mind, right? Because that's my strongest trait. So now I've just finished law, right? I've just finished my articles, I've just gotten admitted. I'm not gonna go into school again because I need to pay back the student loans and. So I thought, well, since I've got the platform, my best friend's mom works in radio, let me just shadow her. Let me figure out what happens in here. Because on your CV, it's great to say admitted attorney, and you can say I've done a year of radio. So they can sort of put it together. Okay, he's smart, he's done some radio training, we can then take him on, as opposed to having a vanilla person who hasn't had any radio background.
A vanilla person.
Yeah, you know, like, you know, a person who's just like very plain, who hasn't had the taste of it.
Yes.
And
guys, score.
So then I got into Radio 2000, just shadowing, literally just coming into the studio twice a weekend and just watching her do the work. She was doing the work every day. I was like, I love this, and I was learning the lifestyle of radio and the science of radio. And I'm a scientist, you know, law is a science. So while we're doing the jurisprudence of that, I was like, I love this. I love the learning and knowing why we say things. Why is it that on a Friday evening between 7 and 10, it's all the gom, it's all the mapiano, because people are getting ready to go party. Your listeners, the lifestyle that they're living is what you need to attach yourself to.
And you're parallel to that.
To parallel to it, because I must help you through. You know, the reason why Breakfast Radio, for instance, has all the traffic and sport and business, because you've been asleep overnight.
Exactly. So
I need to tell you what's happened. I need to tell you what the markets will be before things open, so that by the time you get to the office and you have no radio maybe, or no TV at the office, you already have at least a semblance of what's happening in the day. And the same thing happens with drive time. Drive dies, catch up. Let's catch you up on what's happened during the day, and all the shows in between then fulfill a similar need. So I learned that when I was there. I was like, okay, this is great.
Golden nuggets.
So then, incidentally, there was a Trans-Africa radio, and a friend of mine, Bernard, was working there, and he was doing Man Talk, the show that I took over.
Yes, I remember Man Talk.
Yes. And he said to me, listen, I see you want this radio thing. It's not a big opportunity, but it's an opportunity. Come through, you know, you can be a contributor on the show, and again, it helps to add to the CV. And I was like, well, great, because also it's on the weekend, it means I can, you know, do it after hours, and. Bernard had to leave to go to Namibia for a prolonged period. So the show would have no host. And I was the natural sort of person to host the show, because I had been on the show since its inception. And then what I tried to craft was a show where it was what I call a variety talk show, where we had music and we had, you know, features, but more than anything, we were just chatting. Because I think there's a big misconception that what men talk about is sex, women, cars, rock and roll, drugs, you know, clothes, and not about the small things like these nuggets of conversation we're having right now. I mean, we have these all the time. You know, we chat about what it means to be a dad, what it means to be an uncle, what are we doing about, you know, sustainability and fashion and business. You know, how are you making your money? Where are you investing? You know, what are you doing to safeguard your future? What are you doing in property? You know, maybe you know something that I don't know. And I wanted spaces where men can talk about those things across the African continent.
The Man Talk was powerful.
Yeah, and for me it was amazing because it sparked my love for talking, because I only realized while I was doing Man Talk that my biggest vehicle is not the fact that I am an attorney or, you know, a brand attaché or a public figure or whatever that is, but my biggest thing is I'm a teacher, because
that's where it's at.
That's where it's at. And because I learned through teaching, it's you know, it sort of works both ways.
It does.
Yeah, and then radio began, and I did that for 3.5 years.
3.5 years,
Yeah.
and this was at Trans-Africa.
Trans-Africa. Then I moved on to Power FM to work on Pabistro. I was working with
Bobby Moloi, no?
Yeah.
Yes.
For a bit doing trends and sort of the social media thing over there.
Power FM is a talk radio.
Yeah.
And obviously there, you actually have to know stuff.
Absolutely.
To impart that, because that market is completely different.
Yeah.
We're not playing loud music, we're not putting you in a vibe. This is where you want to get leveled up.
Yeah.
To say you have to be in sync and in tune.
Yeah.
And which I feel like you fell in so well.
You know, the sad thing was that
What's
I'm sad that there was no space for me to really occupy in there, because again, you know, a radio station has, let's say, 15 DJs across the week, and unfortunately you need to wait for someone to either get fired or die or resign for you to come in. And because of how the succession plans are, people like voices they know.
I get you.
So, you know, you want to hear the person over and over again, they'll move you around, but so it became very difficult to penetrate that market. And so for me then the natural thing was, unfortunately I'm stubborn, but also I know my worth to the cent. I can tell you what my worth is for any given thing. So when they were unable to give me a platform, which is not their fault, but because they have their own succession plans that were rolling out, I decided, well, it's fine. We can, you know, put the brakes on it, and there's more to me than just one platform. Because radio is just but one platform.
Yes, but would you then say that, like, in essence, based on the succession plan for somebody who wants to get in radio, has got a great voice, they've told them, oh man, you speak so well, and you know, you're parallel, you understand these certain things. Do you think that would you then advise somebody that's starting out that it would be wise to have a fallback? You have to have like sense of a story I am coming from. You're not just going into this thing as a virgin who does not know about this whole succession plan and how it really works, because I feel like based on what you said is that you will wait forever in order to, then what then would you need to, like, you know, to have that would make you different and an immediate choice to say, this guy?
You know, you also have to appreciate the fact that station managers and programs managers, right, have their KPIs to fulfill. And remember that the whole thing about radio is all about advertising, like television is. And because advertising requires that, you know, we draw people to the platform at whatever given time, that's why they tend to go for people who have lots of experience in the industry. I mean, I was having a conversation with someone, and I was deeply disturbed by a popular talk station, which went and removed a black female from their drive time slot and put on a white male, right? And for me, it just made no sense, because I am an avid listener of the station. And for me, from a transformation point of view, you know, we always talk about the fact that like quotas, but this particular lady was fantastic. I've yet to hear a voice like hers on radio, but she knew how to run the show like wonderfully. And then you remember that, you know, radio stations are owned by corporations, they're owned by conglomerates and groups. So what do you do to get in? So for someone who wants to get in, I'd say, then make yourself the person who they want to get, right? And the only way to do that is make yourself indispensable. That means once you, you know, wherever you are in age, if you are a 19-year-old somebody coming into the working world, community radio, campus radio, again, but what social media has done is that it's helped us, because now you and I can have this platform. We don't depend on a channel to commission this. We don't care if, you know, there's a programs director somewhere who doesn't want, so we can continue doing it. So podcasts are a great way of doing it. And then you package them and you use them as your demo, because there will come a gap. If you cast the net wide enough, you will find a radio station, whether it be in the Northern Cape or in Sunduzi or wherever, you will find it. And that's what I think.
Is that a real place?
On the way down to Durban. It's my favorite place. And you have to make yourself indispensable. And unfortunately, in this space, too many of us want to get the result of what work gives us, right? So we want the resultant force. We don't want to wake up and prepare your clock and prepare your interviews. And like me, the worst thing you can do is get someone onto your chair and say, what are you working on right now? Because you haven't been listening, you haven't been looking around, you haven't prepared. So tell me about your book. No, you tell me about my book. I wrote it.
I wrote the book.
I know what happened there.
Preparation.
So I think it's just knowing that if you are going to go into that space, yes, absolutely you must have a backup plan. But a backup plan should be the main plan. Because as a lawyer, what makes you an asset is the fact that you're a lawyer. As a grooming expert, what makes you an asset is that you know how to groom, so you know particular things. So if I say to you a chemical peel, you know it instantly. There's a market that you speak to. So speak to your market.
So know your market, speak to your market.
Speak to your market, and never be told that what you're interested in, what you like your geekness, your weirdness, your weird form of comedy is not bankable, because that's a clean lie. Look at everyone who's making money right now. She's a satirist. Hilarious. But she's not atypical. She's not the super petite blonde that we've been fed. She is hilarious. She is a real person.
Exactly.
She's absolutely stunning, and she's talented, and she bundled all those things up and she made this character of Copeland Kells. And now we're consuming and want more of it. And here she is hosting the SAFTAs 2 weeks ago. She's, Forbes, Fair Lady made her the Woman Crush Wednesday for the other day. My point is that whatever you are, package it. Because that package doesn't look like my package.
Bars. Like, boom, mic drop, whoa. Like, I like how you said that your backup plan should be your main plan.
Yeah.
Wow. And then if you caught anything, now you can always rewind, is that and I advise you to listen very attentively, because these are seasoned professionals that I'm here with now. It's not even cloud, it's not even trying to gas you or anything like that, right? I'm gonna reiterate, make your backup plan your main plan. What Leroy said is very, very important. If you understand your character, no one is you.
Yeah.
You are one copy.
Yeah.
Right? You are one person, you are unique. You are anything you are that you believe you are, right? And you take all of those attributes, you learn them. When you get to a point where you really understand yourself as a human being, or as just an individual, then you can now say, this I can do, this is me, this is all me.
And the huge thing about that is that it also makes opportunities that come your way. You're now able to tell which is an opportunity and which isn't.
Exactly.
So I used to think of myself as the atypical, like a MUPS carbon copy, right? Like well dressed, I wear spectacles. So whatever MUPS can get, I should be able to get the equivalent or something similar. So MUPS will get a green bag cosmetics, let's say, and I'd be like, I'd be able to get blue bag cosmetics, but you can never be MUPS.
You can't.
So what you start doing is going. So when someone says to you, "Here, we're giving you cosmetics from green bag," you go, "I actually don't like that. I like cars, or I like planes, or I like So I appreciate that, but that's not an opportunity. That is a distraction.
It's a distraction.
Yeah, because what it does is that it continues walking you down this aisle of things that you can do, because you can do many things. You can be more than one thing, but it's the thing you want to do. So for instance, with me, I found very early on that fashion was by mistake. I know a lot about a lot. So you just caught me when I was talking about fashion, and went, "Oh, you're a fashion guy." I'm like, "No, Yazi, I can kiki."
Yeah.
And then 5 years later, I'm like, "How am I a fashion correspondent when what I really, really like are cars?" I can dress, but now that when I see an opportunity coming in the door and they say to me, "Leroy, we need you to go to wherever and go ask people what they're wearing," I'm like, "But that's not it, because I've got a bigger brain than that." Like,
exactly.
Not that people who do that don't have a brain, but my brain is wired differently.
Sure. Like, yo, listen, preparation, take yourself, collect yourself, do a personal SWOT analysis, identify all of these threats around you, the opportunities, your weaknesses, your strengths, put that together. Don't be the next best or the one that, if this doesn't work, we'll go there. Don't be an option, be the one we're going for type.
Absolutely.
Yeah? And then, which brings me to, obviously, we went through law.
Yeah.
You started with law. Guys, he's a dashing gentleman. He's out here. What Attaché? So, Leroy was never that guy, and rewind if you want to. When you spoke about Trans Africa Radio and this gent, the look then and the look now is completely different.
Yeah.
How did this happen? Did you find it in radio, or was it a thing that just went?
My look has actually been a source of very interesting contention for me, because, Facebook does that thing where it pulls up you like a year ago.
Do you remember?
And it get up here, yo. And then I was like, yeah. There was one picture that came up, and I was at an opening of a store in Sandton. Yeah, I felt it, man. I remember going and I was like, I'm gonna look, massacre people. I'm like, what the hell was I thinking? But my look has also been a function of necessity. So I used to wear suits every day because I was in practice. Yes. So it became my thing to jazz up the suit because I'm compelled to do this. When I got back into the art space, I like the aesthetic because it's actually very functional for me. So I'm very comfortable in a blazer, I'm very comfortable in a suit. Yes. But I'm walking a lot now because I'm getting, we'll talk about it later, I'm getting supplies, I'm getting on the train, I'm meeting people, going around. I need something that works. So the look definitely changed, but my body changed because I got tired of being the skinny guy, right? Yes. And I decided that actually I can do something about it. Like I'm just going to eat properly, start training, and I'll start sculpting the body that I want. And lo and behold, like 3 months into it, my body was changing. I was like, but the downside of that was that my wardrobe was quickly diminishing because I was outgrowing a lot of things. And so I sat back and with my manager and we started talking about like, what do I want to be known as? Like, branding and the brand is that, what is the name associated with you? If I say to you, let's use Maps again. If I say Maps, what do you think? You think handsome, banza. There's words that come around, like dashing, debonair, extensive style. What was yours? What do you want people to associate to brand Leroy Marc? And so I went out and I decided, now I'm gonna wear what I want, but I'm also gonna wear it the way I want. I'm not beholden to brands anymore. Exactly. And also because I'd done the whole dressing properly and dressing well thing, I now could take the risk that I wanted to do. So about a couple of years ago, I wore a dress on the red carpet. And
you wore a dress?
A whole dress. I wore a specific Masango dress.
So you did a RuPaul thing?
No, so I was wearing a blazer and I was wearing white chiffon. Sure. And at the SAFTAs actually a few years back. And no one batted an eyelid, because I had bought myself the currency to be able to do that. Sure. So it also takes a bit of bravado and a bit of idiocy to just sort of go into it. So being in the media space meant that I had to be very aware of how I present myself, but it didn't necessarily classify it. I think when I was able to make my own money and able to buy the things that I want to do, and to start working with the brands I liked working with, I was able to then start creating the idea of who I wanted to be. And my sense of style is very simple. I wear 3 items and no more, and clean lines. So I'm not one for the ding ding ding, but when I do, then we must go all the way, commit. Yeah.
Sure. It was, guys, you transition. I don't work at transition and understanding. That was really something.
Yeah, and it's your brand. I mean, remember,
it is your brand. You have to dress your brand.
Absolutely, and remember, clothes are the thing that's closest to your skin, right? So it is literally a representation of you. When you
I told you this before.
And it says a lot about you because people remember certain things about you. Like, what adjectives are used when they talk about you? Clean, well-groomed, put together, stylish, eclectic, flamboyant. Those are words we use to describe people because, for instance, like Somizi, for instance, we know he has a very particular aesthetic. Yes. Not by mistake. Hundreds of thousands of rands go into creating the brand. And if that's the brand you want to cloak it in that way, then go ahead.
Sure. The importance of image and appearance, guys. The first impression, right? A large chunk of it goes into how you look. Yeah. Yeah. So regardless of what you know, who you were before, or just like how Leroy, okay, cool, he's a lawyer, he's done practices, he's flawless, he's commendable, his work is incredible and stuff as a lawyer. But then how he packages the lawyer, and he comes into a room, maybe a billionaire needs what Leroy's services can give, what Leroy can provide this gentleman or this customer, whatever, this client that Leroy has, and Leroy doesn't look like the money that this guy's about to spend right now. There's going to be a problem. There's going to be a conflict because he hasn't aligned his brand. I think a guy that I really just follow ever since, he started posting up his lawyer called Caesar. Okay. And Caesar dresses, like, I'll attach his photo, like, right here. Somewhere around this area. But it's also incredible, right? Now we're going to go into television. You have done radio. Yeah. How did now this whole transition within television happen? Is it because you had enough of weight, 3.5 years plus, Power FM, linking you up with contacts, and then boom, he's in TV? Because a lot of people, before you go into it, a lot of people, I think it's Cardi B. Cardi B once mentioned how in South Africa, right, You get an actress who's now making music, who's now making. There's no fairness. It's literally like, no, we are passing on. Connect, and bury talent.
Yeah.
So how did that happen?
So the reason why it happens that way is that because also you're just not paid enough. And Cardi B can do it because the music industry is able to sustain them for what they do. You can become a millionaire from making music. In this country, it's a bit difficult. Television came to me, like most good things, I guess. I wouldn't say by mistake, because I think I had been manifesting it for a while, and I'd been really, really like very focused about getting into television, but in the right way. I was doing my articles at the time, and my best friend and I were going to the Polo. So, event, and she's in the industry, and I was just going, hang out with her or whatever. So I get a phone call around 11 o'clock in the morning, and I'm ready to go to the Polo. So I was having something to eat, and it's a friend of mine who, their friend, Mushandiki, is in Cape Town.
Yeah, that guy.
So Moshe is in Cape Town. Unbeknownst to me, I've never met Moshe before. And he calls this friend of mine and says to him, listen, I'm due to do a guest presenting situation at the Polo, but I'm stuck in Cape Town. And this thing is happening in an hour. So even if I were to get a flight immediately, I would not be able to make it there until at least after 3. So can you go and do this thing? So he says, yeah, definitely. And then he realizes when the call sheet comes in and what's going to happen there, this is bigger than him. And he says, Leroy, you're the only other person I know who's done television before, whether it be an interview here or an interview there or a guest presenting thing here. Please, can you go and do it? So I went, okay, cool, let's do it. Send me everything that I need. I'm getting in the car right now. And I'm driving to where this thing was. So funny story, as I'm driving, it starts raining. As it starts raining, my back tire pops on the highway. About 300 meters away from an off-ramp. And I'm like, this is not happening. Not this. Nah. So I hobble on in the flat tire, make it to the garage. This guy changes my tire, hand him some money, and I'm back on the highway with a very wobbly replacement tire. I get there and I meet Ayanda MVP. And Ayanda's like, no, also me, I'm guest presenting. I'm like, okay, sure. When I leave here, I'm getting this job. They're gonna want me when I come back. But this is where preparation comes in. Every time I'd gone to these events, and whether it was with my best friend or with other people, or whatever invitation, I really put in a lot of effort. From how I looked to even the conversations I put in together. Yeah. I was sure not to act like a groupie, but I was sure to captivate the person I was talking to. Because believe it or not, your life is really interesting.
Exactly.
To other people.
Yes.
Like to you, like, dude, I wake up in the morning, feed the kids into school. But so I said to Anna, let's do it. And it was a really cold day. It was really, really cold day at the Ananda Club. But because I'd made all these contacts, even though they were conversations here and there, so I was able to, when Tanda walks in and she comes for the interview, I could speak to her like I speak to her when we're at other events. What are you wearing? I remember last week you were wearing this other thing. Are you still involved with this person, apparently? Because I know a bit of the background. So, and that happened with a few people.
Be parallel.
Be parallel, but know what you're there for.
Yes.
And then, so I do this whole thing, it's great, it's fantastic, and I love it. I'm like, I can't wait for the show to air, because when the show airs, this will be my CV now.
Thank you.
On live, I'll be on television, on terrestrial television, but on top of that, they'll spell my name. And when they spell my name, people will find me. And when they find me, penny enough, The show is, they spelled my name completely wrong.
Oh my God.
It's Leroy with 2 E's and Marc with a K, and I'm just like, what the hell, So I text the producer of it, got me on, and said to him, listen, thank you very much for the opportunity, but my name is this and that, and I'd love to work with you again. And it's the week before the Mamas.
The Mamas.
Yeah, the MTV African Music Awards.
Yes.
And at Trans Africa, we're all looking for tickets. Ngani, who do you know? Who do you? This is a Wednesday before the start. I'm like, it's like not going. I wouldn't even watch it because I really wanted to watch it. And all my friends are going, who are in the industry. 11th hour is not even the word, because I get a phone call on Thursday afternoon while I'm at gym, and it's this producer saying to me, listen, are you available to do the red carpet at the moment?
Listen.
For the show. I'm like, what, Njani?
Yes.
I'm like, give me the details. I hang up. I call a friend of mine who was actually at Trans Africa as well. I said, listen, I need you to organize a wardrobe for me because I don't have any contacts in the industry. I need you to try and get too PC, fast. The shoes I wore were too big, the pants were too tight, and the blazer had to be stitched to the gods for me to do this thing. But now again, because it was such a late booking, when I get to the show, you know, you do the walk first, and then you come back and you host the red carpet.
Exactly.
I'm not accredited, so I can't get in. Future was in front of me, space in front of me, and MVP was there, and she was the voice of God, the voice of the show. So I was like, how, you're here also? I'm like, but I can't go in through this. She goes, no, you're going in. She grabs me by the hand, we get to the front, and there's a lady who reads your bio, you know, from South Africa, Grammy Award-winning, whoever, you know, and then you do the whole gauntlet. Now, I had visualized this day a billion times, like a trillion times. I knew exactly what needs to happen. I know how to do it. And this woman says it, you know, entertainer, music, radio, TV presenter, Leroy Marc. I get on, and I've never been more overwhelmed in my life because everything was so surreal. The flashing cameras and the sound, and I'm like, yo, that's a guy. La, and there's those crosses on the floor. So for every media outlet. So once you're done here, you move on. And then one of the ladies that I know from the industry, who I'd met while I was hanging out with, you know, my best friend, and was one of the journalists over there, and she says, Leroy Sondela, come here. Do my thing, and she tweets the photo while I'm on the red carpet. And then I get to the end of the thing, I'm in euphoria, and I'm starting to get all these beeps coming in. Boom, 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 boom. What the hell's going on? I'm trending in South Africa. Wow. From that one photo. People are coming and saying, Puti Siakuna. I'm like, one moment. It literally was not even a minute. Not even a minute. And then they said to me, listen, when you're done with this whole mess, on Monday, please bring your manager so we can discuss contracts. And the contract was signed, and it was the beginning of my TV career.
Damn! And you got onto an MTV show. Yeah. Right after that, you got onto Umswenko, and that was the contract. Was that the contract?
No, the contract was BET A-list. So BET A-list was you know how we have events, fashion, celebrity culture, you know, that's what it was. But at the time, remember, Jessica Nkosi wasn't BET A-list. Nomza Mambata wasn't BET A-list. Or Jesse Sundela was BET. Amanda Dupont was on BET A-list. Amanda Dupont. K. Naomi was on. Remember. Yeah. So you can imagine in a room full of these mega stars, like Ayana Tabete was on BET A-list, mega stars. And little old me in that mix, and I was like, no, I'm gonna take the hype, because also no one works harder than me, no one's prepared harder than me. Listen to that. And what I don't know, I'll learn, and what I can't learn, I can definitely research and find out how to get around it. And it was, I think the teachable spirit really helped, but A-list was the beginning for me understanding how television works. And it was interesting because when we got to Zanzibar we were shooting a special there, we were hounded at the airport. And I was like, I wonder who they're looking for. And they're like, they're looking for you. I'm like, wait, what? Did you feel what's happening? These guys know who I am. Just imagine. And it's so mind-blowing because South Africa hadn't given me the same love I'd received in Tanzania. Just imagine. Yeah.
So BET A-list. Yeah. Then we go Mswenko. Yeah. I know, don't kill me. I watched the first one. I was like, cool. And after that, because I haven't really been, I think the thing about me, mostly, I believe, is that I'm more interested in platforms like these, where I'm sitting here. Yeah. And when I watch something, I'd rather read something, get interested into that, and like push it. Yeah. Honestly, I don't know if this is a normal thing, but yes, I am a one of one. I never watch to draw inspiration from. Yeah. I don't know. Does the same thing happen to you? I mean, you say you work hard. No one works as hard as you, and you have your whole system. You've planned your life out. You know what I mean? Who would you then draw inspiration, or how would you then advise somebody like me who doesn't watch these platforms? Yeah. Who's not looking for all of that?
Your inspiration is everywhere you are, and especially as a brown kid. Yeah. Because just think about how you went to school. You know, and the places that we went to school. You know, we were penetrating the veil long before we knew what we were doing. You know, I went to a private school in Randburg, Santon, and I didn't realize how much of what I was doing was fighting the system. All I knew was that I don't like what you're doing. So why do you think this is cool? And I saw how the teachers, for instance, who came from the other schools, the Soweto and Andoni, and were coming to work, they were getting tired. You know, you're like, how, but why? And then the white kids at school would be like, no, come on, ma'am, come on, no, you're wasting our time, ma'am, you know, why aren't you prepared, ma'am?
I understand.
And you look at Omama who are waking up at 4 in the morning just to get to the taxi on time, to the bus on time. Those are the people who are making magic. Because, you know, for us who work in front of the camera, we're literally the last element. Without me, they can find someone else. In fact, they'll find a producer to sit. You could have not been here. You could have found someone to sit back there and ask me questions. I'll answer them to camera, and we never need to know who's there.
Done.
You know, but those are the people that inspire me. So when I look at these big TV platforms, I'm like, yeah, this is all good and well. This is fun. This is a microcosm. But what are the people who are really, really grafting on the ground?
Sure.
You know, when I was at Wits, there was this particular lady who was part of the cleaning staff. And I used to see her at the bus because she took the same bus as me. And she looked pristine every day.
Pristine.
Pristine. She had a little carry more bag, yeah, okay? So she, you know, made a point of not looking like a struggle. She made a point of looking like the person that she perceived herself to be. And for me, that's the inspiration that you need to draw in. You don't need to be watching television and watching the Kim Kardashians or whatever, because your inspiration is where you're at. And what you need to do is then start using the building blocks from that and start building your set of inspiring sort of markets. Because once you do that, you don't need to then be swayed by things that are outside the ordinary, because things like television, radio, they're all simulated. They're all a chunk of reality that we build, we create, we light, we make up, we stage, we block, and then we rehearse, and then we give it to you that way. So if you're not watching television, you don't have someone available for you, you know, to look at. Your community, every day there's someone who's doing things that are beyond the odds. There are people who are crossing boundaries on a daily basis. And if you're looking for people to inspire you, I think those are more important, because they don't have the fanfare around it. They're literally doing it as their everyday life. And it takes a lot for you to do that.
Yes.
To wake up every day and decide that you wouldn't look like a struggle. To decide that you're fighting the good fight. And sometimes you don't even know it's going to end. You don't know what the result will be, but you keep doing it because that's what you need to do. Keep doing it.
Don't look like a struggle.
Don't look like a
Sure. Okay.
Why you be all on my line about nothing? Why won't you go get you a dollar or something? Dollar or something. Get you a dollar or something. Something. Why you be all on my line about nothing? Why won't you go get you a dollar or something? Dollar or something. Get you a dollar or something.
This is very important.
Yes.
So I want to now get endorsed by brands. I'm into cars and I'm into this and that. But now I don't know how to go about it. When is somebody, you know, I think a lot of people lead by saying that, you know what, one day somebody is going to watch this. Right? But what if that does not happen? What other avenues do I take this content with me and take it to somebody and say, look, I want to like align myself to your brand in English. What would then I need to do as a person starting and looking for endorsement?
The first question you must ask is, why should I care? Why should the person you're taking this to care about what you're doing? What is in it that makes sense for them? And once you figure out what your selling point is, and it goes back to what I was saying about opportunities, you know where to go. So the issue with us is that we compile the demo, right? And we compile the show reel and the whatever, and then we send it to people who we think have the authority to decide on our behalf what it is. So when you want an endorsement, you go and say, I've bought the product, look, brand X, I'm using your skincare product, why don't you put me on? They don't care. They don't care, because financially speaking, you've given them a return on investment they haven't made.
Yes.
You know, your platform is running their content without them ever even knowing you exist. So the point you need to make is bankability. What makes you a bankable entity to go with? And what people trust what you say about yourself.
Yes.
If you think you're worth the money, then charge the money. If you're selling a product, sell at double the price that you're intending to do.
Exactly. Because
what people do instinctively is go, yo, I need to make the sale, I need to be cheaper than the next person. The hardest things to get in the world need effort. Diamonds are dug up from the depths of the earth. They're most valuable. Right? So make it work. Work harder so that when they get to you, they know I've got a gem. As far as creating content and wanting to make it bankable, your content should be such that it's one authentic to you. So it goes back to that pool of things that you have that you are interested in and learn. For instance, we're talking about grooming right now and the broader space, but too many of the people who do this on YouTube are about how do I get good brows, how do I get good skin, but don't talk about the story around it. And what this platform has done as an example is create the grooming to be a wider, the wider generous definition, you know, grooming you from spirit, from business point of view, from personal growth point of view. That is a selling point. So what's your selling point? And once you get that together, it's so easy for you to package it because when you also know where to go. So I'm not coming here packaging this wonderful piece of content and then taking it to a, you know, fashion outlet, for instance, and say, yeah, this is what I want to do, this is what I can do, because it's not going to work. It's not part of their brand identity, but also it's not going to function with them. It's not in their ecosystem. Find your ecosystem. And once you know that, you know how to just kick things out. Not important, not important, not important. I mean, I like cars. So, and the cars are like a 1, 2, 3, and 4. So don't come here, give me an SUV. I don't care about that. Don't come here, give me a pickup truck. I don't want that. I mean, I'm all about sports cars. So what am I doing? Racing on the weekends to get content. I'm making friends with people in the racing industry. I'm going on to driving circuits. I'm going on to track days. That is the content that makes sense. So when you go to a Formula One branded company, for instance, they know, okay, this guy is part of our ecosystem. He is part of our lives. And you and I, our brands speak to each other. Because the issue about branding, and this is a big thing, branding has two ways of doing it. You can come as a natural fit, or you can be brand launderers. A brand launderer is when you come in, just like you do with money laundering, you come in looking like something, and through interaction with another person, another brand, you come out looking like something different. Okay? So I come in wanting to be a super mega influencer in the automotive space. Okay? Find the smallest car you can find, the one that they need the PR. Say to them, I will rent the car, I will borrow the car, give it to me for 2 days, I will create content. You are getting the content. So when you come out of there, you came in as a guy borrowing a car, going to go take pictures, but when we receive it, the brand is, you were endorsed by brand A. Brand B says, they trust him, so surely he's got something going. When I start speaking to that brand, now they go, but you are endorsed, you are rubber stamped by someone else. So the idea of wanting to get endorsement deals don't fall from the sky. They don't. They need to be a fit, because the guys who are sitting in the boardrooms don't care that you're popular or that you can do the dollars more than anyone else. What are people dancing to now? Zegete. Than any other person. It's creating a product that you know that when you go into the room and you speak about, they can hear you because they're the people who are in the industry to hear you. Don't go to lotion brand X and say, look, it's moisturizing. Say, listen, I'm an active guy, I'm in gym. You can see my content is all about gym. I'm running around. I'm a basketball player, then I do cricket on the weekends. My skin is taking a beating. And where do I get semblance? Where do I get comfort? This is what takes me through the day. The conversation is very different from, I like your product, I have good skin, please help me.
You're not an influencer, you're an attaché.
You're an attaché, because an attaché is equal. An influencer is someone who gets, I need you to use your influence for me, please go run quickly there and tell them how great we are. A brand attaché says, what is your brand and our brand must work together in equal portions to make the message land. So when I speak to my audience, I say to you guys, I promise you, use this in this way, like I have, and it will pay you dividends. And when the brand says, no, but you know, don't tell them about the fact that you had a pimple come up. No, you have to tell them because that's part of the journey. You know what I'm saying? That it's, an attaché is equal to the brand. And what we do too much is that we sort of undersell ourselves. We go, whatever comes from the table master, I'll take. But you need to direct your brand in the way that you want it to grow, and a lot of that means meeting the brands that you're attending to or going to at the same level, because at the end of the day, without you, there is no product.
Golden nuggets, golden nuggets. If you made it this far into this particular video, thank you so much for watching. And thank yourself for watching. You know, if you've got a notepad, you're taking notes. It's actually, we are depositing into your life right now. We are adding into your life. If you're new to this platform, once again, welcome. This is Grooming with Masala the Wisdom, and yes, we are leveling you up. If you haven't clicked subscribe, yo, listen, click subscribe right now. I said I won't repeat it, but I'm doing it for your sake, because this is where it's at. So now we're going into the part that I'm looking at these things and I want to know, guys.
The engineering.
Another thing, Leroy's got amazing skin.
Thank you.
You've developed this this relationship with this particular lady. Before we get into the segment where now we are doing the actual grooming, because there is a lot of work that goes into looking like this. Your brand, guys, to become, you need to plug money to you, new Charlie, and align with the brand. If you're a Vaseline Gen, shout out to you. I'm a Vaseline Gen. I keep it simple, but your brand, you have to wear your brand, and that means you have to spend money. You've created a relationship with this lady, Nandi Aesthetics. And just tell me about that whole process and how this now. Why do you need Nandi?
So, I went through a metamorphosis at some point. I decided that...
Metamorphosis?
So I'm a skinny guy. Like, at my average weight normally was around like 55.
So you were an ectomorph?
Yeah.
Okay.
Whatever that means.
Ectomorph, smaller build?
Yeah, smaller build, long muscles. Used to be a dancer, gymnast, so it's the body was built for function then. And when I started getting really into the television space and started doing more events, doing more MCing work, I was having trouble finding things to wear, even from a designer point of view, because I wasn't quite sample size. So I was just a little smaller than I wanted to be, and it meant all my clothes had to be tailored. All the time. Yeah. So it meant I couldn't just go into a shop and pick up a pair of jeans and walk out. And that annoyed me. Secondly, I was like, I like how that guy looks. I like the body goals there. And I thought, because I'm small, I can work up. I already have the building blocks there. I'm athletic. I train, so I can get that going. So the body was being worked on, but I was like, now skin, because you know,
you've got amazing skin. I'm just looking at your skin. Listen, it's not the lighting.
I know So Dr. Nandi was in clinical practice at the time, and she was going to open an aesthetics boutique. And she approached me and said to me, listen, I've seen you work with certain brands before. I like where you're going, especially in this area of male grooming, especially in male cosmetics. Guys don't look after themselves very well. But as a gay black man, and styling myself as such, I knew that there was a lot of money in this industry. Brands weren't talking to my people, you know, and we were chatting earlier on about the idea of the pink dollar and the whole system about men generally, especially men in same-sex couples, same-sex relationships, have more disposable income generally. So that means that we spend more on skincare. I mean, you know, male makeup became a big thing, Botox, fillers, you name it, it was happening. So I was like, this is an industry I really like, because it also requires me to do what I need to do to look as good as I do. So Dr. Nandi came along and we decided to build this relationship. And mine was to showcase what we can do using aesthetics, because my business is aesthetic. You need to look a certain way, but also just for function. You know, it's the hardest thing getting onto set an hour before everyone else, because you have to sit on the makeup chair, because you have all these blemishes and things that you need to fix. So if you can start doing it as you go along, as you do with training any part of your body, you then know that when you get onto set, it's just a bit of powder and you're out, you know. So Dr. Nandi came in, and it was a whole new world for me, because aesthetics means when you're using medical aesthetics and medical cosmetistry, you are using the science of medicine to achieve the aesthetic. So this is weight loss, this is skin brightening, this is pigmentation, this is things like Botox, collagen fillers, those things that are available that we go, we can't do it anymore, or you know, I've always had this dark mark, what can I do about it? I'm prone to ingrowns, that's my life. But the same way that you go for manicure, pedicure, you go to gym, you eat properly, why don't you also add on to that layer with aesthetics? So we started that, and it grew because, it takes a small village to put it together. But also you start learning that the quality of life that you want is achievable when you have the right resources. And this is my resources. Well, part of them at least.
Shout out to Dr. Nandi.
We love Dr. Nandi.
I'm coming to see you.
Please.
I need to see you.
Dr. Nandi is
using science for aesthetic.
And it's a huge industry, man. Like, it's a massive, and we don't understand that. Like, I mean, I wear a lot of makeup at work, and without fail, I'd come off the makeup chair, 2 days later, breakout. like instantly, and it would be just like I'd get rid of that one, and then I'd be in a makeup chair the next week, and then I was like, I can't keep doing this. I need to start finding a process that works, and these are my little.
Keep on Hollywood levels.
Yes,
Hollywood.
but also because the brand is expensive, right?
Yeah.
So when people say to you, come over and MC an event, you say, do you know how much it costs for me to be the person I am?
Sheesh.
So you can't
And you
pay
tie that to the costing.
the costing, you know, in a sense, because you're doing it at work anyway. Like when you're sitting in an office, they give you a laptop, okay? There's Wi-Fi at the office. You're drinking coffee at the office. That takes money.
Money only.
You know, and that is being billed to the firm. So I'm billing to my firm what I need and require for me to the person that I am. Because when you're booking me, you're booking for the way I look, for the way I sound, for my brain, for my intellect, and all those things cost money. So bump the cheese up.
So gents, a lot of men, especially straight men, again, I didn't say this, but happy Pride Month.
Yes, happy Pride Month. Happy International Pride.
International. So as a straight gent, I've grown learning that like a lot of men, they tend to not even care about their skin.
Yeah.
But now I'm like, nah, but I don't want to look ashy.
No.
You know, I don't want to look scruffy. And ubuhle bendoda, and I was telling a friend, ubuhle bendoda is not just his cows. You know what I mean? The man has to be presentable. He has to look good. You know? Has to look good. Yes. And Amachita tend to not even do that certain thing.
Yeah.
So I was like, you know what? Start the platform. Let's help these brothers out.
Yeah.
And now, based on what you do,
and
gents, I want to advise you just before we get into this, because Leroy's got this whole
The
set is something else, Lana. Now, before we get into that, gents, it's very important that you take care of your brand and align. It does cost money, but then don't be naive and say, you know, danger and spending money. Or what kind of man would now go into a cosmetic shop?
We spend more on our cars than we do on ourselves.
Do you understand what I'm saying? You can't buy health. You can't buy these certain things. And then that's another thing that I'm putting you on right now. We are putting you on right now. Without any further ado, that's the word. Without further ado, let's go straight into it. Leroy is gonna he's gonna make me look nice.
Why you be all on my line about nothing? Why won't you go get you $1 or something? Get you $1 or something. Why you be all on my line about nothing? Why won't you go get you $1 or something? Get you $1 or something.
So I'm gonna try to work him out. So I'll try and also run through why what is important, right?
Okay.
So because also this is the beauty of television, and we're not gonna go and get our face in or whatever. So you're gonna wipe down with that. So I use these wipes when I'm unable to get to like my basin, right? Textured. So just imagine what you're doing during the day. You are sweating, there's dust.
Your skin goes through a beating.
It goes through a whole beating. And also you want a canvas that is clean to work from, right? So we definitely wash down. When we're not doing the wipes because we're on television, but I use a deep cream cleanser. Cream cleansers are great for winter. Okay, because what the cream does is that it leaves some moisture behind, and there's a difference between hydration and moisture. Okay, so hydration is water, moisturizers are oils and essential oils. Okay, so these
obviously hold in the water.
Yeah, so you want the water in. And then you trap it inside with the moisturizer.
Okay, correct.
So this is a Dermadeep. I use Regimen A because it's part of the suite of products that we use with Nandi, and it's really good because
look at that, like this turned brown.
Yeah,
you know, and real talk, it just turned brown.
And these so I use Regimen A because Regimen A is the suite of products. So I get chemical peels every second week. I'm Botoxed up every other day, every other month. So this is a great way to, just as a Monday to Friday, to just cleanse the skin, keep it clean as a base for you to put anything on, right? If you can't get a cleansing wipes, just to wipe down whatever you're getting in, and then right, so you're clean now. Right.
I believe.
So
I believe I'm clean.
So at the bare minimum have a 3-step.
Okay.
At the bare minimum have a 3-step.
Yes.
Cleanse, which we've just done now.
Moisturize.
Tone
and moisturize.
Yeah.
Okay.
The reason why we tone.
CTM.
Yeah.
Remember, gents. Remember what I said in the previous video. CTM. Cleanse, tone, moisturize.
And the reason why we tone is because once you've washed your face and cleansed, your pores are wide open. So we need to sort of shut them down. We need to shrink them. One, they appear better. Two, makeup sits better. Your moisturizer sits better. But also means that when dirt lands on your skin, it doesn't go back into the pores and it starts creating breakouts. Okay,
science.
So this is actually a trick I've learned. So this is science. So this is an oxygen peel. All right, an oxygen peel is, so what we do is when you peel your skin, it's a controlled injury. A controlled injury. So a chemical peel, like I've got a Regimen A 50% on right now, right? That's one I did earlier on today. What that does is that it tingles on the skin, and because it's getting rid of all the dirt, right? And then it's injuring your skin, just one layer.
Controlled injury.
Controlled injury. Forcing your skin to build itself up. So the collagen becomes plump, all the dark marks, they disappear because we've acided them out, and then we then start healing the skin. So an oxygen peel is even more gentle way of doing a tone, because what it does is that it does the controlled injury, it tightens the pores, but not as abrasive as using an acid, like fruit acid or whatever. Yeah. So this is your body, and you're just gonna wipe it down. You're gonna wipe down all the way.
The whole face?
Yep, the whole face, all the way to your neck as well, because your neck is part of your face.
Okay.
So you're gonna repump on that when you need to.
Hey, man. I'm telling you, this is important.
It is. It really is important, because also what oxygen peels do is that you can use them every day as a toner, but like when you're traveling and you're not able to get to a tap again, like if you're flying a long haul or you find yourself where you're unable to literally sit down and wash your face, I do it as soon as I get off the makeup chair, wipe it down. What it does is that it just removes every single thing on your skin.
Wow.
Yeah, and you'll see, you've just cleansed your face, but the tap
the thing is dirty again.
Yeah.
Guys, I don't know. I don't know. This is a science.
Yeah, so we're done here. So...
And I learned that you should do like in a T, because this sweats most.
Yeah, so it also depends on what type of skin you are.
Okay.
Right, so you're quite right. The T-zone usually for us in Southern Africa is our problem. But there's people who have combination skin, where the T-zone is oily but the cheeks are dry. Or you find people who have really, really oily skin all over, or dry skin all over.
Sure.
But also remember that your T-zone is the most exposed to sun.
Yes.
Because you've been hit in the front, so your nose, which sticks out of your face.
I can feel the tingle.
You feel the tingle, there you go.
Guys, like, come on,
please. That's what that is, next.
Wow. Okay.
So I love serums, right? And what serums do is that they do what normal products do, but like 10 times, okay? So this is a serum. This is called DNA Renew. It's a skin tone corrector. So right now, your skin is fresh, it's open, it's clean, whatever.
Yeah.
This is the best time to put shit in, like to put real shit in there. And things like serums and like super concentrated moisturizers do well. So you'll see that it has like a little thing that juts out.
Okay.
So it's pulling in stuff into the pipette. Okay, so
what's that? A pipette?
It's a pipette, yeah. So you're gonna look up. So I'm gonna decide just by looking at your skin where we need it, right? You're gonna rub it in where it lands. Okay, let's just do this one as well.
Should I rub it in now?
Yeah. Let me do the outside of your face. Okay, cool. Concentrating under your eyes, around the beard area, the places that you know you get the most discoloration from shaving, from ingrowns, and. Yeah, boy. So it's a look low, I So for someone like me, who I have, so what causes breakouts usually is the fact that your skin is overproducing sebum. Sebum is the naturally occurring oils in your pores under your skin that moisturizes your skin. As black people, we have a whole lot more sebum because our skin is fighting the sun off because of the melanin. But what it does in conjunction with that is that it produces a lot of sebum to moisturize the skin, keep it supple. And because black don't crack, which it actually does, we also need to then correct. Yeah, you're real good. Okay. We need to correct how much we're using of how much sebum is coming out. Here's the trick. when you're doing this on a normal day, wait at least 5 minutes in between each of the steps.
Okay.
Because you want them to get to work.
Rest.
Yeah, rest. So this is a daily sebum solver. So all that comes out, it neutralizes the excess, but keeps enough for you to keep the skin nice and moisturized. But on top of that, it also protects, right? So it's almost like a rev counter, you know, where you need more of it, it will absorb more. Where you don't need so much of it, it will just help along. Yeah. So it's very good for just once a day, one product to use. So.
And then how often would I be using?
Twice a day.
Okay.
So twice a day.
Regimen A.
Yeah. The idea also, whenever you're using any products, you need enough just to cover. Yeah. So when you do use any product.
The whole face.
Yeah, but up. You do it up.
Oh.
You do, so whatever you do. But just.
Oh.
Yeah. Because what you're doing is you're stimulating circulation, and circulation stimulates blood flow to that area, and blood flow to that area means that it carries all the nutrients from your food and all your cosmetics, and then it also helps not to give you wrinkles, because when you draw your face down, the face will continue to go down. So encourage upward motion. Yeah.
I need to go up.
Yeah, all the way up.
I could not keep pushing black coffee. No, I needed to. I think I was one-handing the thing.
Yeah. So, and also, your hairline is as important as your face.
Oh yeah?
Because that's where the end of your hair is and the beginning of your face.
That's Leroy exposing my bald patch happening.
So you'll find people who have this very dark mark around there. That's because even if they wear sunscreen, they don't go as far as all
Am I doing it correctly?
Perfectly.
Okay.
Yeah. And again, because you give it a bit of time in between, we'll then wrap up with this is the most important step. If you take nothing away from all of this rubbish, is to wear sunscreen. Factor 50.
Factor
50.
Okay.
Sun protection factor 50. The reason why I use this one from Grooming is because it's invisible. So you can wear it. It gives you a nice little glow, but it doesn't also give you that sticky feeling. But you also don't look like white.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And the trick with this is not to spray on the face.
Spray in the hands.
Yeah, so you're gonna just cup your hand for me.
Okay. Is it in there?
Yeah.
Okay.
Gonna cup your hand.
Like
I'm gonna do this.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm gonna rub.
Okay.
And now, don't rub, dab.
Dab.
Yeah. Because remember, this is your final step, so that's all gonna keep all the stuff inside, but also this is the protection layer, right?
Let's tell you something real quick.
And this is also great for wearing makeup on top. So if you're wearing makeup at work, or if you are one of the gents who wears makeup, this is great because it protects underneath, and then you can start doing your makeup on top.
So it's like these things, sorry to interject, you have to know your skin before you do all this.
Absolutely. But the great thing about it is that each of these come with a component for whatever type of skin you are.
Oh.
So for instance, the reason why I like this is because it's invisible, it's not heavy. So it works well for dry and for combination skin and for oily skin.
Am I good?
Yep, absolutely.
Great.
And you just literally manage that, and then you just carry this with you, and you apply every 2 to 4 hours. 2 to 4 hours. Yeah. Just think about it. You're driving. Wipe your hands, wash your hands, and then spray a bit on, and you'll start seeing a marked difference because you'll see how where you used to have like dark marks, whatever we've been using now will correct all of those, but then this stops it from reoccurring. And it doesn't matter how dark you are, you need to wear sunscreen.
Doesn't matter how dark you are.
Doesn't matter.
Black do crack.
Black does crack, and majorly why black cracks is because of UV and UVB rays, UVA and UVB rays. So you want to make sure you get something with a strong SPF, but also make sure it doesn't have any titanium, because what titanium does is makes us brown people look grey. So the higher the SPF, the better. But once we pass the 50 mark, we start getting ones that have titanium, and those aren't what
they're not good.
Yeah, so that's why I stay sort of general.
Will that then be suitable for Caucasian people?
Yeah, and then even for Caucasian people, that's like super protection. Like you have to almost be, of Nordic descent to be using 60, and living in Africa, because it really is that strong. Winter, summer, and if you've been swimming, if you've been at the gym, and you still need it. There's no substitute. If there's one thing you need to carry oodles around, one in the car, one in your bag, one in the gym bag, like in the office, wherever, even if you're in the office, light bounces. And UV lighting in the offices, the panel lighting, at the gym, all of that is all some sort of detrimental light. And this is the one thing that we use to protect. Sunscreen is vital.
I don't even want to touch my face. Listen, I know I look really good right now. Now, hear me before I say this, right? Wow, that's something else.
Yeah.
So there's this big bottle here.
Yes.
I need to know what's good with this.
So I was chatting to you early on and saying that, what we don't realize is that part of aesthetics is to work from the inside out, right? And aesthetics is not only just to look good, but also to make sure your body functions in a way that it can look good, right? So what we do is we use a lot of liquid collagen. So this is liquid collagen. It's really cool. It tastes really
I
good.
think you should turn it to other. Oh yeah, same thing.
Yeah. So okay, and it looks hectic, but actually it's not bad. So it's like this.
Sure. It's tomato.
It looks like a stomach. You're gonna have some of this. This is really tasty shit, bro. Okay, and it comes like in many flavors. So what collagen does is that your skin is plumped up by collagen, right? And we're gonna get you 30 more. Right. So this is like a collagen, but also it has a few things in this. It's got Bico. The stuff that, yeah. So it's vitamin B, so it's like B-col, and B3 and a bunch of other nice nutrients. There's vitamin C, vitamin A, and. So generally it's a good multivitamin, but it literally looks after your skin, your hair, and your nails. So from the inside out, all right. And if you are into like actually going to an aesthetic clinic, you can get like the drips. Especially for people like us who are very active with doing multiple, you need something to just bump the cheese up.
Yes.
And I get a drip every week, immune boosters, and it's just a nice 30-minute shot ngena puma, and it helps with the overall well-being. So this is almost like a drip in a cup.
So get puzza.
What does it taste like? Like vitamins?
It tastes like syrupy strawberries. I don't know. Yeah.
So I use this this is my elixir. Like this is
collagen.
Yeah, liquid collagen. Yeah, I mean it has according to the packaging, hydrolyzed collagen for our skin. Vitamin C, magnesium, hyaluronic acid, good for your skin incidentally, zinc, B5, silicon, B2, B6, B1, and D3. But also, it's great because it also acts as like a flu deterrent. So because of all the vitamin C and the B vitamins.
Feels good.
Yeah.
Feels good.
Yeah. So twice a day, move on with your life. After you brush your teeth, pop another one in, go to bed. Yeah.
And then so, Khusha, the last thing, no?
Yeah.
As the beard grows and you shave and this and that, there's always these bumps that occur.
Yeah.
Then what do you then use?
So there's two things that could be, right? One of them is ingrowns.
Okay.
And what I do, and especially with Dr. Nandi, we do extractions. So an extraction is when you literally go into your skin with this metal instrument and we look at all your pimples, your ingrowns, and we extract them. Because that's my least favorite part of this whole thing, because I mean, you're really going in there, but there's no other way to get down and dirty without being down and dirty.
Sure. So
with the extractions, it'll also help to pull out the ingrowns. But remember, because we're in a medical facility, you are in a with a doctor on call. People who are there are trained aestheticians. They know what to do. Aestheticians, they know how to look after it. But as a pick up and go, and just so it's like a little roll ball, right? So you literally like open and you roll onto the thing. Yeah.
I have something like this.
Yeah. So this is important, because what it does is that once you've shaved, and that's when things are tough, you put on your shaving cream or shaving gel, and then you use this. And what it does is that it takes away all the inflammation, but also it's hypoallergenic, so you can't get allergic to this. But on top of that, it's also got antiseptic, so it goes in and all the, if you're using a weird razor or your barber didn't clean the razor properly.
I think that's what happens.
Yeah. This will then be able to disinfect that area. So jacket.
It's
first many times back. But that's also part of being a guy, right? That you're always shaving, so that part of your skin is always going through the most.
But Fitch, that was it.
That's it.
That's it, right? We've put you on to another level, on another level, right? And you know what to do.
Yep.
Grooming is very, very important. Guys, thank you so much for watching this video, getting to this point with us. It was exceptional. I'm telling you, I am investing in that. I don't know about you, but then I'm even gonna show you a bank balance to say, yay, State Bank. This is what happened. Leroy, thank you so much for joining us.
An absolute pleasure.
This was everything. I'm telling you, gents, you've been leveled up.
Thank you for having me, and also thank you for making a
Sounds
platform.
I'm a COVID. We've got sanitizer.
Yeah, just skizzy before.
Skizzy,
Yeah, skizzy,
right?
but yeah, I think it's a very important platform. And I think that as men, we need to sort of start looking after ourselves more than just, you know, what we look like and what we have in the bank balance, but it's a holistic thing. This is just one element of it. So kudos to you for putting us on.
Thank you. Remember, guys, this is Grooming with Professional Wisdom, designed for gents by a premium gent, joined by a premium gent, Lalela. Thank you so much. Shout out to everybody. Enjoy the rest of your winter, because winter is here.
Yeah, it's here.
It's here. Thank you so much.
My line about nothing, why won't you go get you $1 or something, get you $1 or something, why you be all on my line about nothing, why won't you go get you $1 or something, get you $1 or something, why you be all on my line about nothing, why won't you go get you $1 or something, get you $1 or something, why you be all on my line about nothing, why won't you go get you $1 or something, $1 or something.